should be like you, Melvin.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Cherries fans from around the world, wherever it is that you're watching. Welcome back to another edition of Cherry Slaps. And as always, with me tonight is Malcolm. Welcome, Malcolm. How you doing?
Hi, Ollie. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, all good. A little bit here. But...
yeah. I think you told me earlier it's going to get to minus 17 tonight, didn't you? It's just bloody ridiculous.
Yeah, that's with the wind chill factor. Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, minus 10 today through the daytime.
Absolutely crazy. Not as cold for me here, and I imagine even warmer in Bournemouth on the south coast. But look, as always, Monday night, Cherry Slaps is back. We've had another fantastic win, 3 out of 4 now on the bounce from a couple of defeats in a bit of a touchy period over Christmas, which always seems to be the case for us. 2-0 away at Wolves, Mal. We had some appearances from some new signings. We had, as always, someone getting on the score sheet, and he just seems to be getting better. And all round a fantastic result, which puts us into a really comfortable position mid-table, leading into our game next week against Villa. Start us off away at Wolves. Go ahead.
Yeah, brilliant. For the starting lineup, I actually got that right. I said we will start as we did against Liverpool, and I think, I mean, it's very, very rare that I actually get that spot on, but I even got the result right as well. So I should have put money on it, really. But I didn't. From kickoff, Wolves, really good. You know, they were up for it. As we mentioned, could have been a potential banana skin there. But they showed potential, and it's sort of a bit of a weird one with them. Over the previous, 5 games, they've actually, since the West Ham at home, you know, they put in decent performances, got some points, obviously not enough. Yes, away to City, you can always lose there. But, you know, they showed endeavour, but their failings were, as always, not being able to put a ball in the net. To be honest with you, you know, they had so many chances. I think looking here, total shots 17 to our 9. XG 138 to our 136. But it's sort of strange. I mean, we didn't really kick on in that first half until quite late.
No,
it was really, you know, a mistake from, I think, Andrea was in midfield, misplaced pass which Scotty picked up, and away he went. Beautiful little bit of controlled football, pass into Adley, little flick, and then boom, literally with a big boom, from Kroupi. Wow. I mean, I've watched it back so many times, and I'll continue to watch it back because it was just so perfect the way it went. A little bit against the run of play, I would say, in that time when it happened, because we didn't really create that much.
Well,
A
that's
couple of
actually what
opportunities.
I was going to. I was going to mention because obviously you mentioned how they came out and stats. Obviously, many more shots on target in comparison. They did have spells of pressure and they tried to force chances in that first half without a doubt. But I feel Bournemouth stayed really compact. We didn't really get too stretched, and it was the threat really was from their forward play. Sometimes, but we managed to counterbalance that, and we always managed to catch them on the attack. And I think that's that run of play from Kroupi came in very nicely, back and forth. I remember that we lost the ball, didn't we? But then we've gained it straight back in that final third, and opened it up. And I think I messaged you yesterday. It was almost old school Arsenal-esque, wasn't it? It was lovely to watch. Really good. And as we said at the start of the podcast, Kroupi, your man, obviously getting on onto the score sheet again.
Yeah, absolutely. But got to give a shout out to Rodrigo Gomez on the right wing for Wolves. He was a live wire. Truffert had his work cut out there a little bit, certainly in the first half.
Yeah.
But we did a good job keeping control of Mane over on the left. I mean, okay, he's only 18. He's a live wire. He had a goal disallowed for offside, which was correct. But I think they rely too much on him. Give him another season, another full season, and we'll see what he's really about. I mean, really good player.
Another youngster to watch. Right?
Yeah, very much. There's an awful lot there in the Premier League worth keeping the eye open for. So, and that took us into half time, really. There was another chance for Adley between the goal and half time. Perhaps a little bit too wide. He took it a bit too wide. He got past Sarr, but Sarr managed to scramble back and keep it out. So, push it away for a corner. But another good move. Nice flowing stuff.
Yeah,
Defense.
And again, you can almost see it was clear that we weren't dominating the ball as such or dominating possession, but we were really dominating the moments and the chances that we were given. Although we didn't have full control of the ball, every time we got it, there was a moment to be made, and there was something that was almost special that came from it. So we really took our chances when possible, I think, in that first half.
We were well organised at the back as well. Once again, it's you got to give a shout out to the back line.
There's definitely a couple of players that I'm going to bring up at the end that I believe had a few standout appearances.
There were a few. Do you want to say good evening?
I was about to say, before we get into the second half, Chris Hubble, evening everyone. Good window for the Cherries. Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Evening, Chris. Yeah, we'll talk about that after the game.
We will indeed. Yeah, because we actually brought it up a couple of games ago, didn't we? Jamie Keynes, all right, Craig, Malcolm, and Ollie. Excellent result at weekend up the Cherries. Evening, Jamie.
Evening, Jamie.
Hi, Ollie and Malcolm. Paul from Oz saying good evening, guys. Good evening, Paul. How you doing?
Hi, Paul. Hope you're well, mate.
Chris Hubble, good win away at Wolves. Absolutely was, Chris. Yeah, here tonight discussing all things winning at the weekend. And Matt Harrison, I think the link-up play between Alex Scott and Kroupi was excellent. Yeah, Alex Scott, again, soon to be spoken about quite a lot this evening. He will be coming up, don't worry. Heading into the second half, in my opinion, Mal, Wolves kind of came up and ramped it up. They definitely had a period for shots, pressure, near misses. And I think that's what you were saying about defensiveness. That was when our composure almost came together, I think, the most. Although it was the most pressurised point, it was when we also came together. And was a brilliant bit of football, I think, for that first 25 minutes in the second half.
Well, the strange thing was we actually got off to a flyer the second half with an effort. Sadly, it was saved, but okay. And then I don't know what Rob Edwards said to his team, but I suppose after having like the sucker punch of goal conceding in the first half, you could see that, I wouldn't say the heads dropped, but they weren't as fluent.
Yeah.
So he obviously G'd them up at halftime, said, look, you're still in this game, why not? Let's go for it. And they, give credit where it's due. They put in an awful lot of effort, but their finishing, is absolutely, I would say, woeful. Not being disrespectful, but twofold. Obviously, the players that had the efforts, if they'd have been a bit more composed, I think, could have been a little bit different. You've got to put a mention out of Petrovic as well. That's 3 games on the bounce now where he's really produced. And I've always said, goalkeepers do make mistakes, and I've never been on the Petro bashing band. Just give him time; things will sort themselves out. And he's shown in the last 3 games what he's about. He has, fully deserved that clean sheet at the weekend. To be honest with you, obviously as well as the defence, but as a unit, yes, really good. But Wolves, my goodness me, it was like, how can you miss those, or at least get them on target? I think the biggest miss, I would say, was Strand Larsen after he came on. A bit of a strange one with him, because when he came on, like half the stadium were cheering, the other half were booing. So it's a real strange situation with Wolves at the moment. But he had an opportunity after the ball was saved by Petrovic. It came back to him, and he just ballooned it well wide. He didn't even get it on target, and that was one opportunity. Or for me, that was it. Then I thought, right, they're never going to score.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, had chances after that as well, but they were all right. But the longer the game went on, we sort of broke out of it, and we were knocking the ball around really, really nicely. And there's a couple of players to mention, which I'll let you do that in a minute, that helped this situation. And obviously, going into like the last 10 minutes or so, things looked quite comfortable, I would say. Obviously, after the hour mark, there was a certain Brazilian that stepped onto the pitch. I'll talk about him afterwards as well. But it was a really, I think it was a workmanlike performance from the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to sum it up. I think some of the notes that I had down here was Wolves kept on coming, as we said, with the stats and the shots and shots on target, but increasingly getting more kind of ragged as the game went on. It just continued to look a bit more lackluster and a bit more kind of way-sided as the game got closer to 90 minutes. And then obviously Bournemouth's counters looked more dangerous as the spaces opened. So as they got lazier, as they got more tired, we just seemed to kind of relish in that a bit more, and the game became more fruitful as it pushed on to 90 minutes, as you said.
Yeah, I don't think the subs that Wolves made, not the first 2, but the others that came on afterwards, they didn't really impact anything. I think it was just a hit and hope sort of situation for them, really.
Yep, agreed. Paul from Oz says Alex Scott was everywhere. Brilliant performance. Think he could be heading for the World Cup with these performances. Won't do him any harm at all in his current form. Won't do him any harm at all. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. I think if he doesn't get a call up,
for me, he's a future boy.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll go to the World Cup. I think it's too early for him.
yeah. I
That's
also
just my take on it.
it's the England squad's a bit different, right? They don't tend to do that often.
No.
But yeah, good shout and a conversation for another time for sure. Matthew Harrison wants to just throw in there UTC IAD transfer show deadline day is live tonight at 8 p.m. on the show, so please do continue to stay tuned on the channel. And Paul from Oz, Alex Scott, brilliant performance. He was everywhere. There we go. Yeah, surely in the World Cup squad, just reinstating how well he was doing there, Paul from Oz, and man of the match, which is understandable. Yeah, I think you mentioned something a moment ago. It was a proper grown-up away win, wasn't it, at Wolves? It was something that I feel like we're waiting for and almost yearning for just to see. We had full control. I think it was disciplined under pressure. I think that's the best way to say it, because Wolves are fighting for their life. It's a battle, right? And they're continuing to try and get a goal in. They're continuing to try and get a point on the board. At the same time as we're trying to develop and involve new players, keep our team essentially mid-table as we're going to want to end the season either this point or higher. It was a battle from both sides and a good game, right? So
it was a decent watch, yeah, to be honest with you. It wasn't fantastic. Obviously seen better this season, but it was a good watch, yeah. Also want to point out, we didn't have the high intensity pressing in the first half, from the get-go, which Andoni also did against Liverpool. He played that same sort of way against Liverpool, which I thought was very clever. Let them have the ball.
Yeah.
And basically save a bit of energy. And they look quite comfortable with it, to be honest with you. Yes, they have to get the ball back, but not the high press, but press more in midfield. So yeah, it's very clever tactically what he does.
Yeah,
what Andoni does, and it doesn't matter who's on the bench or who starts. He's got his plan in place, and obviously Wolves, they're not a low block team, so it was always going to be quite an open game.
Now, obviously, there was two standout players. I know that there was more, of course.
Who?
For me, specifically, that I want to bring up and bring topics on is Kroupi and Alex Scott.
Oh, you surprised me.
Yeah, look, I'm going to start with Alex Scott because we all know about your love for Kroupi. In my opinion, he's just been getting better and better and better. Now, is he essentially quietly becoming the midfield leader? And I think we mentioned it maybe before the season or just as the season was getting going that there's a spine that we're looking to create for the future. And Alex Scott was one of those names. Funnily enough, so was Kroupi. But he's really cementing himself in being that man in midfield for us, right? That voice, that leader, that person who opens up the ball, who can take it in and slow things down. He can almost do a little bit of everything at the moment, and he's showing it, right?
The guy is well advanced for his age on the field, with his talent that he has. He's, since last season, he's got to be the most improved player in the squad from last season, I would say. I mean, you can argue, anybody can argue with it if you want to.
Yeah, that's a.
But I mean, he has. If you see how he was last season, and then look how he's actually grabbed it by the horns this season, hasn't stayed, he's pushed on. And every performance that he, his next game, Ollie, where have you gone, mate? Don't leave me here on my own.
I'm here.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you. Did I disappear?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, apologies. Yeah.
Well, his next game, what he's going to give to the team. His performance levels are just going up and up and up. Super for the club. Super excited for going into the remainder of the season. and even more super excited for the next season. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But wow, he really is. He's a very grounded player, a person. Sorry, he works hard. He is one of the team. He's one of the small group that they all stay together and they work for each other. If things don't work out, yes, he does have this side of him where he's got to control his emotions a little bit, which he's now doing. I mean, I've seen him sort of lose it a few times, but he's earning his call-ups. Let's just put it that way. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously linking in with important players, immediately getting an assist from our new Brazilian, who I'm sure is going to be discussed this evening. Next on the list, though, obviously a fan favourite, not just from everyone in the chat and all Bournemouth fans around, and probably a lot of the globe, but specifically for you, Kroupi. Obviously on the scoreboard again. He is turning from less of a prospect and a possible starter to a big moment player. Now, pretty much every game, right? This is his confidence, his quality, like everything just seems to be following that trajectory. And it just keeps getting better and better, right? I mean,
and Andoni's actually moved him around a little bit, hasn't he? And I think that was pretty smart. Was it last week? It was against Liverpool where he put him behind Ever, so it's like a 10, which is not an easy position to play, to be honest with you. And the way it worked against Wolves, I mean, his work rate, you can't fault it. He does everything's asked of him, but he actually picks up these little positions where possibilities are there. He'll make a little bit of space for himself or whatever. I mean, it was a perfect knock from Adley. Obviously, the run from Scotty for the goal, passed it to Adley and the little flick across, absolutely superb. And boy, that was. I mean, I wanted to leap out my seat, but because I was like 20 seconds ahead watching the game with Darren, I was sat there frozen. I thought, can you hurry up and catch up? And then I can actually cheer. He said to me,
I wouldn't have been able to do that.
he said to me, did you know that was coming? I said, I've already seen it, mate. So it was just like, okay. I didn't want to spoil the fun for him, but no, absolutely brilliant. And to be honest with you, I didn't see it coming. I really didn't see it coming because I thought maybe half-time might be 0-0. And then we'll have a bit of shake-up in the second half.
Yeah.
But, that, like I said, that took the wind out of Wolves' sails quite a bit. But boy, what a strike. Got to be a goal of the month contender, hasn't he?
It has to be. Paul Frost says Alex Scott is using both feet in play more than ever. It was great. Yeah, completely agree with that. Did put up a question for anyone interested to get involved. Obviously, Malcolm mentioned most improved player. Let us know what you think. Put some comments in the chat. It'd be interesting to see who thinks what.
That's why I said since last season.
Since last season. Have I put that up there? Most improved player? Yes, since last season. Good.
Thanks, Jamie. Yep.
Most improved player, I'll say Alex Scott. Yep. Paul from Oz says, with Kroupi, he always seems to get taken off, yet he's scoring. Don't know why. Do you have any ideas?
Why, Paul? Yeah, I do. It's managing minutes all the time, Paul. And it doesn't matter if you're having a brilliant game or not. And it's not an individual thing. It's a question of, come on, we need these players and we don't want them, burning out or maybe a potential injury.
Yeah.
When they play too many minutes. Because obviously when they start, especially in a 10 where you're covering an awful lot of ground all the time, not just at the front, you have to defend as well. So you cover a lot of yards in the game. And it doesn't matter who they take off. I've got used to the way Andoni does it. You know, people moan when they say, "Oh, I take Evan Nielsen off and bring Enos on," but he don't bring us very much. But that doesn't matter. It's a game plan, and they're part of the squad. And these guys, they're not machines, and I keep saying it. So I don't think it was like tactical reason. It's just simply managing the minutes for the players, which is a sensible thing to do.
And do you think that, and just hypothetically going on the questioning there, managing minutes, is there a way that minutes are managed? For example, are we seeing someone like Kroupi get less minutes than Scott? Scott is consistently playing 90 minutes. Is there a reason that maybe Evan Nielsen might not get taken off as much as Kroupi might? You know, in your mind, would there be a reason behind that as well? Or is that just the nature of rotation, how long players have been in the squad, certain contract lengths, things like that?
I don't think contract lengths come into it. I think it's a question of, you know, what's going to be actually best for the team. I think if Andoni had the opportunity to replace, obviously he bought Christie on, didn't he?
Yeah.
But if he had a replacement maybe for Scott as well, yeah, because Talk come on, didn't he? But if they had a replacement for Alex Scott at the same time, they would have done it. It's obviously like a Tyler Adams, just to throw one in, you know, and that's how they would do it, and that's managing the minutes. And what the unfortunate thing is at the moment, because of the injuries we got, we cannot do that. And once again, on the bench, what do we have? Three academy players again, or was it four? So that's what I mean by managing the minutes. And when you got a full squad there, and you got a full bench of non-academy players, so all first-team players, you know, Andoni's going to have a headache. He really is going to have a headache. What his starting lineup's going to be. You wanted to mention other players. Come on. You obviously said Alex Scott and
Kroupi. Yeah, I did indeed. Yeah, Jamie mentions that Kroupi to get double figures in goals this season. Yeah, I think that's without a doubt, Jamie.
What did I say, Ollie?
Go on.
Our top scorer this season.
Kroupi. Yeah.
He'll go past some menus goals, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I think what's he on? He's already on 8, isn't he? Kroupi now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think he's on 8. Which he's going to be.
Hang on, I can let you know here. I've got something for our show that's coming up. Yeah, you've got 8 goals now.
8 goals.
Yeah.
Chris Hubble says agrees with Jamie and Mal. Alex Scott has been the most improved player. Jamie Kane says Christie, since he's come back from injury, he's given us some more energy, like for example against Liverpool last week. Interesting. Big shout, Jamie. Big shout.
But also, I mean, he was really, really good against Wolves on Saturday.
Yep.
All right. But once again, managing the minutes when he came on. So, you know, I think it's a really cool idea what he does, what Andoni's doing. Don't burn them out, mate. You know, the season is long. I know we've only got 1 game a week.
Yeah.
But, you know, we want fit players, don't we? So, yeah,
exactly.
I'm liking it.
And you're right. Yeah, you're right to call me out. I will. I'll mention the other couple of players, and then I want to go into the points that we've earned this season, this month, because at the start of the month before the Liverpool game, it was a bit tough to see how well we would have done. So, I want to bring up 2 more players specifically because you've already mentioned Petrovic, which I think is a fair shout. Firstly, Jimenez.
Wow. I mean, obviously, he's going to come into our cherry picking, isn't he? For those that don't know, there is a cherry picking coming up with all the new signings, not those that come in the winter, but from last transfer window. Basically, I suppose like a halftime report thing. You know, our views and what they've done, how they managed, and what we think of them, really. It should be quite interesting. But hey ho, sorry to interrupt.
No, but you feel free.
So Alex Jimenez, well, another decent performance. we're looking at the moment. I'm glad I've got all this stuff written down here. If only I could find it all.
Right, you're a happy man tonight.
We know he needs 18 appearances. Sorry, 18 starts. Right, 18 starts, and then we're obliged to, or it's mandatory to buy him 2 more. Right, he's on 16 starts at the moment, so start him again next week against Villa. Start him again the week after, and then hopefully when he comes off the pitch, there's a contract there waiting for him to sign.
We're not sure there will be. I'm sure there will be.
I cannot vision anything else happening. I really can't.
Paul Moss, there's such energy. Brilliant for me.
There's so much we can say about him, Paul. Quite right. Go on to the chat now.
And he says, I was just because that backs up what you were saying. Not long until we can have Jimenez on a permanent. Only 2 or 3 more games to go. Absolutely.
2 more, Jamie. Yeah. Look out for the cherry picking. That's all I'm going to say with that, because that is going to be quite a lot of content, I believe. But yeah, great shout out for Alex for another really solid performance.
Yeah.
He really has cemented himself in the starting 11, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has indeed. Yeah, and again, he's wholly built himself into that position. Like the transition where he came from at the start of the season to how he's performed in the last 4 games is insane. It is an immense transition. The way that he's solidified himself into that spot, he now gets to start each game regularly, which again, at the start of the season, he wasn't starting straight away. He was being brought on and being weaned into the team, and he looked a bit aggressive and too energetic. And now it's been honed, and it's perfect energy. He's exactly what we need on the pitch. Exactly what we need. The other person that I wanted to bring up, which I wanted your opinions on, James Hill.
Oh, I mean, he goes under the radar a little bit, doesn't he? But wow, what performances he's put in! He puts in a shift and a half. Another really standout performance at the weekend.
Yeah, and again, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think he quietly goes under the radar as how much he's come on since the start of the season, because there were mistakes being made. There were obvious defensive mistakes being made that you could see, and you can tell the amount of time and defensive prowess that's now being built into him, because those mistakes aren't being made anymore. And he's a solid defender now. In my eyes, he's gone from what isn't necessarily a starting defender for us to a solid defender next to Senesi.
Absolutely. Now, if you put so you got James Hill, you got Adam Smith, and you got Cookie. Those 3 always go under the radar. They barely get a mention.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, shout out there.
They're solid players, mate, and they just get on with it. And this is what I'm saying about when I say it's like a workman-like performance.
Yeah.
Where you have to maybe really dig deep a little bit. Those guys, they really are absolutely, the bread and butter of the team. Every one of them is like Mr. Reliable at the moment.
Yeah.
You can have some tough opposition, of course you are, but steady. They're all steady players, mate.
Yeah, I don't think tough opposition comes into it anymore. I don't think, because let's be honest, the last 2 years we've broken history. We've consistently broken records that we are winning away at stadiums, scoring goals that we shouldn't have scored, hat tricks here, there, and everywhere that have done. Like, all of those things, I think, culminate in the fact that it completely depends on us. And technically, we could go out and have a pretty good go at any team on the day now. With the right composure and the right mentality on the day, we could go out and we can beat the Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpools and the Tottenhams now. We've shown it. So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting position to be in for us at the moment, moving into the second half of the season. Obviously, one more topic before we go, but Matthew Harrison, cherry picking out next week, reloaded, looking at all the signings from the summer and including predictions. And looking at you guys that signed this window. Yeah. Is that me and you, Mal? It is, isn't it?
Matt, yeah.
Matt. Yeah, cool. Perfect. Chris Hubble, I agree with you, Jamie. Get Jimenez on the permanent would be good. That is the plan, I believe, chaps.
That will be happening.
Paul from Oz, I'm sure Jimenez's contract is on the desk ready to sign. He gives 100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Jamie Keynes, Petrovic has been better in goals since we brought the loan signing of Mandas in. That's true, actually. Yeah,
but before that as well, I mean, the previous two games at Brighton.
That's
Brighton
true.
And against and against Liverpool. So, he's picked up, and that can only enhance his performances by having, tough competition. Let's put it that way.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Matt says Hill is excellent. Another most improved player. Agreed. Ryan for me, Matt. And James Hill, 1 million bargain. Learning and watching Marcus Senesi. Yeah, just another fantastic recruitment there. So finally,
there was a guy that came on just after the hour mark that needs to be mentioned, I think.
Yeah, please do. Please shout it from the heavens, Mel.
Actually, I mean, I really, as you know, super excited about Kroupi before the season started. But when we got this boy in and I checked out the YouTube videos that you can see snippets of him and everything, we call him Ryan.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, the commentator said it's pronounced Hyan. I suppose because of Portuguese.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. When he came out and just stood on the side of the pitch, and I'm looking at this bloody monster of a guy, and I said, wow, what a physique he's got, and what can he bring? And it was barely on the pitch a minute, and he was away, whoosh, as though it was the most natural thing for him to do. His composure, his awareness. I'm just thinking, bloody hell. He's got a 20-minute cameo or whatever. I think it was about 20 minutes, wasn't it? Something like that, just over. But, he just looked really, really at home. And I was thinking, if this is a subs performance, what's it going to be like from the get-go? And then to round it off with an assist. And to be honest, he could have easily fallen over once he got past this man because he stumbled. But he had the strength and the awareness to look up, see where Scotty was coming into, the space he was coming into, and what a perfectly weighted ball across the box. So then, wow.
Brilliant first. A first arrival for the team, isn't it? To be able to put an assist like that in across goal, it's a fantastic way to show how bought in you are. You could tell as well, as you said, he looked up, he knew exactly what he was doing. He dragged two defenders in. Yeah, it was real good football, real good football. And just a fact to throw out there as well at the moment, Kroupi and our new Brazilian signing Ryan are actually in the same category at the moment as Lamine Yamal for being the most impressive and highest rated up-and-coming teenagers in the whole of global football at the moment. And we've got two of them. We have two of them.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy.
I don't know if anybody saw it on YouTube or any videos that have been out and about on social media. There was like a reverse angle thing from the Alex Scott's goal.
Yep.
And after the ball had been put into the net and the camera focused on Ryan, and Christie ran up to him and said, "Come," and he pointed up to the Bournemouth fans. He said, "Come on, you got to go and be the other side of the goal."
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
the Bournemouth fans were at the other
yeah,
end, and so
yeah,
he dragged him off over there, and absolutely
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And seeing that togetherness all the way around the team, and once again after the final whistle, it's a dream. It really is
Yeah.
a dream.
Which we see so often now. We see it so often now, with all the social media and all the cameras coming back after games through the tunnel, cheering each other, even at the ground, as we mentioned for the Forest game when we were there.
Yeah.
It's completely different now. As you said, it's a dream. Matt says he throws a huge statement out there, and something I never thought I'd hear him say. I agree with Craig. He says, "Crikey, Kroupi will be as good as Henri."
In what respect?
Necessarily wrong.
In what respect?
Yeah, I think. Look, I think if you take the way that he's playing now, as we've already said, the old Arsenal-esque ability about him, throw that in with a couple of Brazilian and Norwegian and Holland-based footballers, Kluivert, Ryan. You've got all of these Evan Nilsson surrounding him. You give him the best of the best to be able to play in, and he's going to perform and probably look as good as the likes of Henri, or I think I even read a news story about a minute ago, also being compared to.
We compare.
Well, he's ours, right? He's ours at the moment, and we're going to enjoy him. And I think if there's anyone that can be super excited and called it from the start, it was definitely you. I remember hearing excitable words and noises coming out from the minute he got here. Paul from Oz says, "Think Ryan will start against Villa? He'll give Matty Cash a nightmare." Yeah, he will. To be fair,
that could well happen. Actually,
we're going to finish off in a moment with fixtures and results. Actually, Jamie Kane says, "Hopefully, we can get a good result versus Villa on Saturday up the Cherries." Absolutely. Chris Hubble, hope that AFCB can get a good result against Villa on Saturday. Down straight, Chris. And Matthew Harrison, in terms of longevity at the top elite, I put it out there now.
Okay.
He will be France's World Cup squad.
I
back that. Yeah, I back that one. Yeah. So just before the Liverpool game, we were looking at possible results, possible numbers for January. It turns out we've won 3 of the 4, which is sublime, absolutely fantastic. Looking ahead, as we do now at the start of the month on our Cherry Slap shows, are the games for this month, which is Villa on Saturday. We've got Everton 3 days after that on Tuesday the 10th, West Ham on the 21st, and Bournemouth and at home to Sunderland on the 28th of February, which again, you'd like to think there's a solid 9 points there, but we take each game as it comes, as you hear from Malcolm every week. We keep our glass half full, as always. And no chance you're going to lose against Villa. Up to Villa. Well, Paul Wellman, welcome to the show this evening. I'm glad that you came and got involved. Thank you. But I cannot back that statement, unfortunately, with how things are going and the fact that Villa have just lost as well this weekend. When they could have actually brought Man City at that point and gone second. Anything can happen, my friend, Paul Wellman. So, look, here's hoping to the Bournemouth boys on Saturday. I believe it is. Yeah, it's Saturday. You'll see us back here again for another edition of Cherry Slaps next Monday. And please do stay tuned because there's more shows to come live this evening and another show coming either this week or next week. But as long as you've got your notification bell on, you will be notified as soon as they come out. Malcolm, anything left to say?
Yeah, I have.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say hallelujah. The transfer window is now closed, and we can get on with bloody football.
And you're going to hear more about that transfer window in a moment. So
no, I'm not. I'm going to go and watch the football match. Sunderland playing Burnley tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, Craig, but I'd rather watch the football.
For me, it's farewell and up the Cherries and good night.
Up the Cherries. Thanks for joining us.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.